Well, hello folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you, and let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up the screen. Cardano, one of my absolute, well, it is my favorite crypto. And the institutions are starting to gobble up Cardano. Does not surprise me in the slightest. Let's get into ADA. All right, it says institutional demand, large transactions on Cardano are up 50 times in 2022. And again, that doesn't surprise me. It says large transaction volume on Cardano has exploded in 2022, suggesting there is now institutional demand for the blockchain network. No, that doesn't surprise me. It says Into the Block reports that the number of large transactions on Cardano blockchain has increased by more than 50 times this year. And large transaction volume, LTV, refers to transactions that are larger than 100,000 bucks. It says the LTV has increased from 1.35 billion per day to 69 billion, worth $81 billion, changing hands on Cardano on Monday, for example. It says that's a 51-fold increase in about 3 months and marks one of the highest volume levels since mid-2018. And Into the Block calls that increasing institutional demand, obviously. Says the year began with 3.4 million addresses, which has now grown to 5 million. And again, there's only 7 decentralized apps appearing on the total value locked on DeFi Llama. And I think there's only 5 of them that are really active yet. And we'll take a look at that here in a minute. All right, so when you take a look at total value locked, we're up to just shy of 300 million bucks. And again, there's only 5 decentralized apps that are actually effective right now that are really grinding. And 2 more to go of the 7. And again, there's 517 waiting in line, and they're waiting for the June hard fork, the Vassal hard fork, which will help expedite the throughput and make things a lot faster and smoother. And they're working on side chains and Hydra, and they're just working on all kinds of things in Cardano. And I think it's going to be a huge year. Currently, you can see Cardano is sitting at 7th place. And as far as all of the coins, sitting at a $40 billion market cap. I see this going to 100 by the end of the year at the latest. Now, that's just my opinion, but I think it'll see 100 billion. And that'll put it pretty squarely in 3rd place is where I think it's headed. And that's why I think it's going to hit $3. And as you can see, it's continuing to work its way up. I think it's going to go all the way up to $1.50 before it hits some resistance. Now, we were a little bit concerned about this resistance on $1, but that had been support for so long, I wasn't terribly concerned about it, and it bust through that like nothing. It was a piece of cake. And now the next, like I say, resistance is going to be that $1.50. So I would expect it even, it may pull back for a while, but eventually I think it'll hit that. And then hopefully it gets above that and kind of sits on it and then starts working its way up again. And with these institutional buyers, look, when you're now getting 3.75% annual percentage rate on Coinbase, and of course you've got Binance US where it can be staked as well and even get a higher interest rate, we're in an inflationary situation. And if you put money in the bank, you're not going to get squat for it, like 0.5%. You're going to get that much if you're lucky. Well, let me tell you something, almost 4% to have it sit in Coinbase, I'm loving that. That suits me just fine. That's a little inflation hedge. That's hard to beat, and you don't have to do anything. Just put the money in the Coinbase, and it takes care of it for you automatically unless you opt out. And I tell you, I really feel like Cardano is going to, at some point, really take off this year unless we come into some sort of crypto bear market or some sort of crypto winter. I don't see that happening now that the Rona is going away. I know we've got inflation fears, but again, when they're offering almost 4% on Coinbase and even more on Binance US, I don't see how that's not, working in their favor on some level. So Cardano, I freaking love Cardano. Yep, I do. I'm Pepe Le Pew when it comes to Cardano. And you need to take that into account. I'm very biased towards this crypto. It's my favorite. And I just think it's got everything going for it. It's got the security. They've done the work. They haven't just rushed into this. They've been the tortoise, and there's been a lot of hares out there. Well, the tortoise, I think long-term is going to be just fine because now when they launch this Vassal hard fork, I think it'll go fairly smoothly and we won't have a lot of problems. And then these other DeFis can jump in there and you're going to see that total value lock just go, and I think the price will follow. Now for me, I was buying real heavy at $1 and below. And had I known I was going to get almost 4% interest, On Coinbase, I'd have bought a lot more. I actually tripled my position, but I would have 4 or 5 times it had I known I was going to get that kind of return, because that's real comfortable, especially at $1 or below. I'm probably, if this thing were to pull back, anything under $1.10, I'm all over it. But realize I've got a pretty large position, so it's easy for me to say that. But I do see it coming up to $1.50, and I think over time it will hit that $3. I can't, assure you of that, but gosh, it sure does feel good the way this is headed, and everything's working in its favor. So, all right, folks, and that's Cardano today, and those institutions are just gobbling up Cardano, and they can just keep right at it. That's fine with me. Have at it. Let's watch this thing go up. So hopefully that's what happens. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover Cardano, and I'll cover it anyway, even if you don't. I just really like it. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Cardano Network. Frugal investor, whatever.